So for the introduction, as I've said before with the BIM, so take note that BIM has emerged as a transformative technology in the construction industry. Okay, so it improves collaboration, efficiency, and quality. However, despite its potential adoption, okay, the adoption of the BIM has not been uniform across the industry. So meaning hindi siya na-apply sa lahat ng project kahit na malaki yung mai-improve niya doon sa sa mga project sa industry. So one factor hindering, okay, one factor lang to, that hinders the adoption is the presence of beam inertia. It is a phenomenon characterized by resistance to change and reluctance to embrace new technologies. So, yung beam inertia, yun yung parang isa sa mga factor kung saan hindi hindi siya paano ko sabihin, hindi siya ina ina-apply ng ng the rest of the industry. So meron silang resistance to change kasi nga before everything is being done manually, and then before everything is being done kung paano nila ginagawa. And then since merong mga new technologies, so they don't adapt. The reason why is because why should we adapt with that one? Meron naman tayong nagwo-work na system, which is yung manual method. Okay? And then with that, so yun yung pag-uusapan natin. And one aspect also aside from this resistance to change, one of the reason why the beam has not been uniform across the industries because the usage of beam would require us investment on assets, investment on trainings para sa mga taong gagamit ng mga softwares, and at the same time, it would cost more for a project kasi nga nag-a-apply na tayo ng BIM. Okay, pero on the bright side, when you apply BIM, so it would be easier for collaboration. And then the usage of BIM naman kasi, it don't applies to all projects. Most of the time, BIM is being used for projects that are complex. Okay, kunwari, kapatayo ka ng bahay, so I don't think na magagamit ka ng BIM compare sa magpapagawa ka, for example, ng sabihin natin ng power plant, mga ganun. Okay, so which is much complex compared with a simple residential house. Okay. Okay, at the end of the session, so you will be able to familiarize the context and behavior in BIM and then know the basic procedure involving contracts in civil engineering industry. Okay. So for the introduction with this one, so BIM applies in an increased collaborative effort in early stages of construction projects. But in what ways is the prerequisite manifesting itself in contractual provisions and procurement? So take note, as you use BIM, so it increases the collaborative effort. So mas marami tayong mga ginagawang collaboration during the early stages of the construction projects. And then there's an effect whenever we use BIM sa contract natin kasi it increases scope para doon sa sabihin natin sa designer or sa contractor where yung initial budget cost will implicate to an increase in budget cost. For example, kung ikaw yung client, gusto mo yung project mo naka-BIM, so mag-i-increase ka ng budget dapat kasi hindi siya within the boundaries of the base contract. Okay? Then, yun, sabi dito, in the US, Ashcraft 2008 has highlighted the need to recraft existing contractual relationships. So yun nga, the application of this one is very much different. Now, so to facilitate collaborative decision making and to equitably allocate responsibilities among all construction participants. So without amending the contract and without increasing the budget cost. So they won't be able to apply BIM. Noong mga panahon kasi na to, college ako nito, mga around that time, the BIM was being uh, tawag dito, being introduced pa lang those times. Pero I think it was already been used. Pero hindi pa masyado. Unlike now, mas gamit na siya. So siguro yung mga previous contracts na wala pang BIM, ngayon they need to recraft existing contractual relationship. Yun nga para ma-allocate nila kung sino ba yung gagawa nun among the construction participants. Wait lang class. Okay. Then, yeah. Next is consequently, the American Institute of Architects has developed through its partners a series of new contractual agreements compatible with the integrated project delivery philosophy. Reports are emerging on successful and advantageous application of IPD to support BIM. Okay, whilst elsewhere the industry is toiling with half-hearted collaborative process thwarted by contractual inertia imposed through a traditional procurement route. So, yun nga, hindi nila kumaga okay, i-accept namin, okay, tatanggapin namin yung changes na yan, pero hindi sila 100% hindi sila 100% agree to adopt this. So, yun nga kaya nagkakaroon ng inertia between the changes over the other. So, yun. There is a qualitative approach adopted from critical realism perspective where acknowledgement is made to contextual favor. So, what happened here is that they collate data, okay, para makita nila yung nangyayari in terms of the adaptation, acceptance, etc., and application of the BIM. Where data gathered has been deductively analyzed to expose and interrogate the key components that influence the particular phenomenon under study and enable a clear understanding of contractual and behavioral challenges to BIM collaboration. Take note class, later doon pagpunta natin sa mga succeeding slides kasi yun nga the reason why there was a BIM inertia kasi they are looking at the contractual aspect, so magkakaroon ng changes sa cost, so may mga implications siya. Okay lang sana kung mag-start pa lang yung project, so or as in from scratch pa lang yung project na pwede na kaagad ma-integrate yung budget for the BIM, which is happening nowadays. Pero before kasi nung ini-introduce pa lang ito, so hindi pa siya talaga well established, kaya hindi pa na isasama previously kaya nagkakaroon ng mga amendments sa contract. And also the behavior. Siyempre, hindi na as an engineer dapat later on, hindi kayo dapat basta-basta lang a-accept ng changes. You should be able to criticize that hanggang sa ma-convince kayo na okay, this change are very beneficial, so might as well we will adapt it. Pero kung tingin nyo naman mas maliit yung benefit versus the adjustment na gagawin, so might as well don't adjust at all. Kumbaga parang ganon. Kaya nagkakaroon sila ng before, ng inertia with this one. Parang, ayoko, sige, go. Okay? Yan. And then, the main findings on BIM inertia, contracts and behaviors build upon a critical analysis of the key documents outlined below. So later, there is a illustration. Okay? So, wala pa pala. Doon sa, I think, few slides pa. Then, yun. As secondary research method of data collection to identify where industry perceived hindrances exists and assess the level of concern. So, yun nga. They assess ano bang mga issues and then ano yung mga concerns from the respective parties that gave this their data as they use yung BIM or their perception in terms of BIM. Okay, the focus group interviews differs from survey and questionnaires as they not only enable the collection of more in-depth data and also provide a forum for the different disciplines to share and clarify their views on various decision issues. And so class, kung titingnan niyo yung mga dates, so ito nga yung sinasabi ko, those time nagsisimula pa lang yung BIM that time. So yun, kaya nagkakaroon sila ng mga palitan ng mga views, okay? And then insights, yun. Hanggang sa now, they improve everything, whatever the concerns and views of the parties involved now. So medyo smooth na yung paggamit ng BIM. Pero not all projects are using BIM even now. Okay. So a review of key documents, so yung as part of the data collected nila. Okay. So in connection with this study, a number of key contextual documents were collected and reviewed, including existing local documents, NBIM supporting documents. Wait lang ko isa. Anyway, class, going back yun. So yun, they use the existing local documents of as part of the data collected then, and then the BIM supporting documents such as the AIA document and the IPD document and the Smart Alliance BIM project execution planning. So through this, they come up with the understanding the contractual and behavioral obstacle to BIM collaboration. So ano yon? Ito. So dito makikita nyo sa illustration, okay, this basahin ko muna bago ko i-explain dito thoroughly. This represents the main results of the study and is divided into findings, okay, from the document. From the document review and those from the industry participant interviews, okay? And then, yun, pinagsama-sama nila lahat ng document, yung mga interviews ng mga stakeholders, and then they come up with this network. So these are put together with summarizing section reflecting the procedural circumstances and behavioral fallout from the BIM criteria. So from the BIM documents, ito, so take note, yung mga kulay pula na to, ito yung mga naidadagdag na, or ito yung mga idadagdag natin sa BIM. Na necessarily, na hindi naman siya, na pwedeng wala siya actually. So ayan, so this is the possible support components for the project. And then on the other hand, the gray ones, so these are the standard, or these are the actual procedures that should be taken off. Like for example, the methodology and standard, so dapat kina-apply natin sa project yan. There should be a collaboration protocol, pero it doesn't necessarily mean that the collaboration should be done under BIM. And then yun, there's a BIM manual, here and then yun, yung modeling rules, or yung pag nagmo-model ka na or nagde-design ka, so you're, for example, you're using Revit or ArchiCAD or Civil 3D or whatever software you are using. And then on the other hand, this black one, so this is the potential facilitating document. So these are the documents that as a whole is the basis of everything, which is particularly the contract. Okay? So kung wala kayong contract, so syempre wala kayong project. So other than that contract, so doon naka-itemize lahat ng ito, yung mga modeling rules, etc. Okay, kung wala tayong BIM. Pero kung meron tayong BIM, so we add this red one. So ito yung mga ito yung mga na-observe na mga circumstances and behavioral fallout. So bakit nagkakaroon tayo ng inertia in terms of the BIM? Okay, one of the aspects then is the yung how the person or how the engineer, sabihin natin, is sufficient or parang is capable enough to use BIM. Okay? And then, hindi kasi lahat, tulad na sabi ko, is hindi lahat knows how to use BIM before. Now, it's becoming a must na rin. And then with that, isa din sa mga factors is paano natin i-apply yung beam. Anong klaseng accuracy ng BIM yung i-apply. So they come up with this level of development, which is it refers to the standardized framework for defining the amount of detail and accuracy that should be included in a building information model at different stages of the project. So each stages of the project would require different levels of accuracy, or kung tawagin natin LOD, or level of development. Let's say if you're going to apply BIM, so hindi naman natin dapat, let's say, gawing accurate yung level of development as same as, for example, kung kunwari gagawa tayo ng column na to, kailangan may bakal na sa conceptual stage. So hindi natin gagawin yon kasi we don't want that, because we are only at the very onset of the project. So we don't want that level of detail because it's time consuming, and then there would be a possibility that the effort that you will apply on those details will be discarded later on kasi nga pwede magkaroon ng changes and so on. So with that, so they come up with this level of development per stages. Okay? So sabi dito, the American Institute of Architects and the Associated General Contractors of America, so they establish a commonly used LOD frameworks. So this LOD ranges in 6 levels. And then, take note lang, etong mga nakalagay dito, itong pre-design schematic, these are just wordings, pero sometimes they can be interchanged depende doon sa description. Ano talaga yung pre-design. Like, for example, we're going to use LOD 100, it may be called pre-design or conceptual or preliminary layout. Okay? So, yun. Pero, one thing's for sure, each level of details correspond to a certain, to a certain description. Whatever stages neto, kung magpapareho sila ng description, so yun ang mag-govern kung ano yung parehong description. Kasi napapansin ko, whenever they wanted to create stages, so minsan iba yung tawag, minsan nga milestone 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, minsan 50% complete, minsan 70% complete, mga ganon. So with that, so we just set which LOD are needed for every stages of the design or the construction. So let's discuss one over the other. So for LOD 100, it is only a conceptual design. At this stage, the model represent basic shape lang and size, and elements of elements without detailed information. It's used to convey the overall design intent. So if you would compare the LOD 100 dito, so by the way, pares lang yan with this description. So makikita nyo dito, siguro mga block pa lang yung makikita nyo. Bloke-bloke para alam nyo na, dyan may nakalagay, dito may nakalagay, dito may nakalagay. So basically, ganun lang siya. Kung anong material, kung ano yung actual dimension later on, so it will be refined through higher LOD requirement or level. So let's proceed to LOD 200. Under LOD 200, it is an schematic design. The model becomes more refined, incorporating quantities, size, shapes, and location of element. It helps in analyzing spatial relationship. So dito medyo nakakakalinaw na para makita natin kung pwede na nating ma-check, magka-clash na ba siya, ganito, ganyan. Kasi you change na yung sizes, and then normally the sizes or the shapes or geometry that are being added under LOD 200 underwent engineering designs na. So nakapag-design ka na dito. Pero hindi mo muna dinidetail lahat ng results ng design mo. Okay? And then, yun. So if you would compare this, so ito for example, kung LOD 100, bloke lang siya tong item. Ngayon, meron ka ng mga layers. Ilang floor ba dapat? Or let's say kung dito meron ka isang pedestal, alam mo na yung column dyan is hindi siya concrete, bakal siya. Okay? Yan. And then followed by LOD 300. For the LOD 300, under detailed design, dito ini-improve mo na yung nilagay mo sa schematic. Almost pina-finalize mo na dito under LOD 300. The model includes geometric information, specific sizes, shapes, and detailed object components. It's used for producing specific sizes. It's used for producing construction documents and coordinating different disciplines. So ito na yung ginagamit natin for coordination with other discipline. And at the same time, ito na rin yung ginagamit natin hanggang sa matapos. So, in terms of design, hanggang LOD 300 lang siya. Minsan hanggang 350. Pero most of the time hanggang LOD 300 lang siya. Kasi yan yung sa design phase. Okay, so kung makikita nyo dito, kung kanina may poste, so ngayon meron na siyang kasamang base plate. Okay, so detailed na siya. Pero yung loob na pwedeng hindi na nating i-model, so hindi na siya sinasama. Okay? Now, for the 350, ito wala tong 350. For the 350, so dito naman, nagkakaroon na tayo ng detailed assembly and fabrication or construction level information. It's used for generating construction documents and shop drawings. So, basically, that's it. So, naglalagay lang tayo ng mga additional information in terms of the fabrication and for the detailed assembly. So, paano ba yung gagawin? It's more on construction documents na kung paano yung gagawin nila on-site. Tapos, for the shop drawings, instead of doing it manually, so they can refer doon sa BIM model para hindi na sila nag-shop drawings for RFI. And then next is LOD 400. For the 400, so it is now for fabrication and assembly. This level involves the creation of detailed models with specific assembly and connections suitable for fabrication and assembly purposes. Ngayon, dito makikita mo na paano siya nakakabit. Dito makikita mo na tawag dito kung ano yung mga sizes ng mga nuts and bolts, etc. Pero it's under the construction stage na. Mapapansin nyo dito. So, kino-construct na yan. Now, with that, so there might be changes with the design intent from the LOD 300 kasi take note that there's no perfect construction drawings. So, kapag napunta na sila sa construction stage, nababago yan. Hanggang matapos ang project, now it will be turned into LOD 500. For the LOD 500, so that is the as-built. Meaning, ano yung nakalagay doon, dapat naka-model sa BIM. Ganun lang siya kasimple. So, para saan siya? It is for facility management. So, they use this information so for the operational elements of the building. So, para ma-reflect yung real-world condition or scenario within that building doon sa BIM natin. Of course, for the benefit of the maintenance and facility management. Again, last take note, siguro sa end natin, kung tayo yung nasa creation of model, etc., hanggang dito lang tayo sa LOD 300. Pero if you're gonna work past LOD 300, so you might encounter this. Pero kasi personally, what I encountered is hanggang LOD 300 lang kasi yan yung design stage. And then take note, each LODs would require, of course, different amount of contractual cost. So, syempre, mas detailed, mas matabaho, mas mahal. Okay? Minsan, kung ano yung napag-agrihan, kahit sabihin natin, kahit LOD 300 dapat siya, based dito. Pero kaya lang, ang i-require lang ni client is LOD 200. So, okay lang yun kung yun yung gusto ni client. Okay, basta it's within the contract, no one will question that if that's within the contract. Okay, lalo na kung napag-agreehan. Pero when you're going to deal with a certain contract, might as well question kung client paano pag ganito, paano pag ganyan. Para nakikita na nila yung other aspects na sige, yung pagkaganyan yung nangyari, ignore na lang or pwede nilang i-consider yung mas mataas na LOD. Okay? Ayan. So, tuwing kailan ginagamit? Okay, the uses of ayun na, the use cases for LODs. So uh, it is integral to construction industry because they allow model authors to clearly define the reliability of their models. So syempre kung ikaw yung nagde-design, nagmo-model, gusto mo makita yung actual intent of your design. So you're going to use models for you to um, to show your intent. Okay. By standardizing the degree of reliability and accuracy, which is LOD, it minimizes misunderstanding among stakeholders, optimize resource usage, and aids proactive decision. Okay, so mas madali kasi mag-address ng mga issues kapag meron kang beam which is which is very helpful, and then it would be better for the in terms of decision making. Okay, the next is yeah, so do all AEC or architectural engineering construction project use level of developments? Technically no, tulad nga nasabi ko, hindi lahat, do all, hindi. Only complex project with intricate designs used BIM with LOD requirements, and then yung may experience teams lang yung of course yung nag-a-apply ng LOD requirement. They might use softwares, oo, pero yung LOD they might only be applicable for those companies or designers that are experienced enough to implement this. Then yung mga simple projects, so for me they don't um, need to use LOD for that one. Plus take note, pag sabi mong beam, hindi lang siya LOD ha. Sabi nating beam, it also applies with the softwares na ginagamit natin for modeling. Yung LOD aspects lang to, yung for complex projects. Then how beam is involved in levels of development. Okay, so yung BIM and LOD are closely intertwined in AEC. Okay, BIM forms the digital backbone kasi sa BIM galing yung or sa software ng BIM galing yung mga models. Yun yung ini-implement natin for the collaboration in the usage of LOD implementation. Enabling digital creation, management, and sharing of detailed digital representations of building elements. LOD establish a framework that specifies the depth of detail and accuracy to be included in BIM models at various stages. Okay. So how do levels of development tracked in projects? So they are tracked sa project through LOD matrix. So there is a matrix. Okay. And it is an essential part of BIM execution plan. So this BEP or the BIM execution plan, so bago magsimula yung project, ini-implement to, ilalagay na doon ilan ba yung ano yung LOD natin, ano yung mga requirements, ano yung mga softwares, etc. So para once that they implement it, so meron kayong babalikang guidelines with that one. Hindi kasi pwedeng output lang kayo na output. Dapat meron kayong basis for that. Okay? In the LOD matrix, project teams define and outline LOD requirements. So yun na nga. For specific building elements and system at various project stages. Take note last that the creation of this LOD matrix as part of the BEP, pinag-uusapan to. Okay, walang direct manual for this. Pinag-uusapan to kung paano yung gagawin. You define, okay, kung ano yung necessary sa, lalo na yung sa requirement ng contract. Okay, then, responsibilities for creating and maintaining BIM models at each level of development are assigned to relevant stakeholders. So kung sino yung involved na discipline, so ina-assign natin yon. And then, the LOD matrix serves as reference, so as what I've said a while ago, guiding the creation of BIM models to meet the designated LOD requirements and continuously monitored for compliance. Okay, so technically, to sum it up, the LOD requirements are basically based from the contract. If there's no LOD requirements or BIM requirements as a whole, then it's needed. So there is an amendment for the contract that should be done. And then yun. Pero nowadays naman, if you're gonna use LOD and BIM plus LOD with a certain project. So sa simula pa lang pinag-uusapan na yun. Yung dati kasi as I've said, dahil bago pa, so wala pa talaga. Kaya nagkaroon ng inertia or nagkaroon ng issues with that. Okay, so with this, I think this is the last slide. So next meeting, so we will be discussing the civil 3D. Magmo-model tayo from surface. So your expectations through that is I will give you a file and then imo-model nyo. Okay? Mag-record lang tayo ng video, papakita ko sa inyo, and then you do it on your free time. Okay, then yon. And then once we have that so I will be distributing also the files na pwede nyong i-upload or i-manage, and then later on you're going to yun, una kung familiar kayo sa topographic surface or yung sa topographic or yung sa topography ng site, so ipaprocess natin yun sa computer. Parang yung site ililipat natin sa computer. And then after that, gagawa tayo ng kalsada. And then after that, gagawa tayo ng mga pipes and mga manholes, mga drainage systems. So yun muna yung unahin natin. Then tsaka tayo lilipat sa Revit. Okay? So yun, para lang meron na tayong magamit ng mga softwares. Okay? So that would be done next meeting. Any question? Wala? Sige. If you don't have any more question, class, let me just download the attendance and then see you next meeting. Class, reminder lang. Teka, ano pala muna. Wait lang.